Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Morning Musings. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. Here we are almost to Thanksgiving, and this will be my last Morning Musings for this week. I've decided to take a couple of days off and work on one of my old cars. Just kind of kick back, relax, take it easy, and then enjoy the Thanksgiving. So, happy Thanksgiving to you. I continue to be absolutely amazed and so appreciative and so humbled by the fact that there's so many of you watching the videos, sharing the information with your friends, people from literally all over the world. So among my Thanksgiving are my thoughts of appreciation to all of you who watch these videos. I just cannot say appropriately enough how much I appreciate you being with me as I share my thoughts with you in these morning musings. Well, we've been talking about the eschatology of Luke chapter 16, Abraham and Hades, Abraham and Lazarus. I want to shift focus now to another one of Jesus' parables found in Luke chapter 18. Well, the lead into this is chapter 17, in which the Pharisees approached Jesus concerning the establishment of the kingdom. They expected that the kingdom was just almost immediately to be established, as we learned from Luke chapter 19, a somewhat similar circumstance. Jesus assured them that their expectation of the nature of the kingdom was misplaced. The kingdom does not come with observation, Jesus said. It is in your midst. Well, Jesus then warned what the coming of the Son of Man would be like. There would be days of seeming peace and prosperity. And yet the days were coming in which they better pray that they could be on the rooftops and they could get out of there. They were to remember Lot and his wife, and that is to flee and not look back. Just get out of town. Within that context of imminent judgment, Jesus then told the following parable. He spoke to them a parable that men ought always to pray and not to faint. Faint in light of what? Of the coming days of tribulation, the coming days of persecution, the coming days of warfare. And he said, there was in a certain city a judge who did not fear God nor man. And there was a widow in that city, and she came to him saying, get justice for me from my adversary. The word justice here is the Greek word ekdekesis, vengeance. It is used throughout the entirety of the New Testament of what was to be brought on the enemies of God for persecuting the saints. He would not do this for a while, but afterward he said within himself, though I don't fear God or man, yet because this widow troubles me, I will avenge her, ekdekesis, lest by her continual coming she weary me. Then the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge said. And shall not God avenge his own elect, who cry out day and night to him, though he bears long with them? I tell you, he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he even find faith on the earth? Wow. What an incredible, not only parable, but an incredible promise and an incredible question. Notice, first of all, the cry for vengeance. This cry for vengeance must be seen within the context of how throughout the Old Testament, the saints of God being persecuted cry out over and over and over again, how long, O Lord? It takes us to Revelation chapter 6. and the souls of those who had been beheaded for the word of God and for their testimony, they cried out and said, How long, O Lord, holy and true, do you not avenge us, ekdekesis, same word as Luke chapter 18, on those who dwell on the earth? And they were given white robes, and they were told that they must rest for a little while until their fellow brethren, who should be slain as they were, should be fulfilled. Now notice this concept of martyr vindication. Jesus is speaking to his first century audience, and he said, you guys need to pray and not faint. Not faint why? In light of the coming days of persecution. You have to pray. Like the widow who cried out for vindication and was given that vindication. And Yahweh said, the Lord will avenge the saints speedily. When were the saints of God to be avenged? In Matthew 23, 29 and following, Jesus castigated the Jews standing there with him in the temple. And he said, you are the sons of those who killed the prophets. And he said, fill up then the measure of your father's guilt. Behold, I send to you prophets, wise men, and scribes. Some of them you shall crucify and scourge and chase from city to city. Watch this. That upon you may come all of the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from righteous Abel unto Zacharias, son of Barachias, whom you slew between the temple and the altar. Verily I say unto you, all of these things will come upon this generation. Is that different from Luke 18? Luke 18 is talking about the vindication of the martyrs at the coming of the Lord, the day of the Lord. And Jesus said, this is going to happen speedily. I'll have more to say about that later. So when we conflate, when we put together Jesus' promise of the vindication of the martyrs in Luke chapter 18 and Jesus' promise that the martyrs were to be vindicated in his generation in the judgment of Jerusalem, what do we have? We have the promise of the coming of the Son of Man in vindication of the martyrs in AD 70. This is powerful stuff, folks. And this entire theme of the vindication of the martyrs is one that dominates not only the Old Testament, but the New as well. And we'll develop that more when we pick this up. But remember, this will be my last post until after Thanksgiving. Thanks again so much for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. Look, if you want an in-depth study of the vindication of the martyrs, go to my website and order the book, Like Father, Like Son, on Clouds of Glory. Mention that you saw the offer on Facebook or YouTube, and I'll refund your shipping. Okay, thanks so much for joining me. I think you can see the eschatology of the parables of Jesus falsifies any futurist eschatology. This is good stuff. So we'll be back with you, Lord willing, after Thanksgiving.